where discussions are hot.
All right, excellent afternoon to all those who are watching me across the state in Nigeria. Yes, I'm sure you will be looking at my Christmas, all I call it now, design, or because my set right now is decorated because I'm in the spirit of Christmas, and this month December is my month, is the best month of the year for me. I know many people can relate to that, but unforgettably I feel this is the year I achieved more strides in changing and reforming the narratives in our society, using this platform Real Talk with Kike to drive that change. And this is a special edition today, and before we go into details, I think it's important for me to let our sponsors, say a word, or would I say give them a standing ovation, for the support towards this vision, and of course, for all the years in the last 5 years, for all their support all through the years, and of course, for all that they've been able to do in terms of, supporting all the things that I've been doing thus far without not micromanaging me. I want to say many thanks to Nigerian breweries, many thanks to, Nigerian breweries are our main sponsor. So let's take it to that. Let's give them all their flowers right now that they deserve. And of course, to Silverbird Television, thank you so much for the partnership. It's been an awesome year back to back with you guys. It's been 3 years together, aside the fact that I started my media career from this station 2 decades ago. So I say thank you so much for being a support system to Real Talk with Kike platform. I think it's important for us to get a quick break and get a message from my sponsors who have kept me on this platform. When I return, we'll dive straight to the topic, and stay with me. I'll be right back.
Progress. Ọganiru bụ echiche ndị be anyị. That is why, when we travel beyond the land of our birth, we are not afraid to start afresh in search of our glory. Our thirst to succeed fires our passion to build empires made from hard work and determination.
From the east to overseas, the drums of triumph hail our name. This is the sound of progress. Ebube dike, nwoke n'etiti ụmụ nwoke, ịlọghachila n'ebube. Nwoke dịka ọdụm, nnọọ, bịa were ọnọdụ gị n'etiti ndị okenye. This is the life we chose. Enjoy the new taste of progress. Mwafọ turu golota.
True friendship, it lasts forever. True friendship, a gift we share together. No matter where you are, we're there together. Sharing moments, happiness is when we are together.
Multina, share happiness.
Why is a seat at this table so special? Culinary luxury at its finest. the peak of private dining. A rare fusion of flavors coming together to create one-of-a-kind masterpieces never made before. Be the ultimate host at Echo Hotels. Exclusive new Oak Table.
Progress. Ọganiru bụ echiche ndị be anyị. That is why, when we travel beyond the land of our birth, we are not afraid to start afresh in search of our glory. Our thirst to succeed fires our passion to build empires made from hard work and determination.
From the east to overseas, the drums of triumph hail our name. This is the sound of progress. Ebube dike, nwoke n'etiti ụmụ nwoke, ịlọghachila n'ebube. Nwoke dịka ọdụm, nnọọ, bịa were ọnọdụ gị n'etiti ndị okenye. This is the life we chose. Enjoy the new taste of progress. Mwafọ turu golota.
All right, many thanks for staying with me. Of course, it's going to be an interesting edition of Real Talk with Kike today. But first off, I remain your executive producer, your host, your chief host, your scriptwriter, name it. You know, my name remains Kike Atanda-Owo. I think it's important for me to do a recap, and today we take a walk down memory lane to reflect on the incredible journey that I mentioned earlier when I was opening the show. We've had a wonderful time together throughout the year. So from human affairs to political discourse to economic issues to foreign relations to life-changing stories, this show has been a platform for real conversation that matters. And I want to say that as I look back at some of our most impactful episodes, I think that it's important for me to bring it back to fall in terms of let's relive those moments together. Let's celebrate our growth. Let's ignite our commitment to meaningful dialogues, you know. So sit back, relax, join me as we explore the highlights of Real Talk with Kike 2024. And when I return, I will give my first, talking points of this year's impactful 2024 episode. Stay with me. I'll be right back. All right, the foreign affairs, international relations is one of the things I think I want to bring to fore. First of, another reverting discussion that was on the global stage where we explored the assassination attempt on the former U.S. President Donald Trump and its implications. This wasn't just about American politics, but also about the global, security and Nigerians' role in safeguarding democracy. So it's important for me to revisit this topic because, there were lots of controversies around the world regarding this allegedly assassination that took place. I think it's important for us to check the highlights that featured Professor Atanda-Owo, that analyzed the assassination attempt and its global impact thus far. Let's watch this together. When I come back, I'll give my 2 cents on it. Stay with me. I'll be right back. how is the assassination attempt on Donald Trump impacting world politics beyond America and influencing the votes in America?
The assassination attempt has, boosted the electoral victory possibilities of Donald Trump. There is sympathy all over the place, also from, of course, Joe Biden, the president. Leaders across the world are expressing their, solidarity for Donald Trump and expressing condemnation for the violence which was carried out, in which, by the way, a few people died, about 3-4 people also died, in the attempt. But as far as the electoral chances, electoral issues are concerned, they are all positives for Trump. And he seemed to realize the gains he will likely have from it, such that as soon as he was able to just, stand up when the threat was confirmed to have, been taken away, he clenched his fist to show as if, the Superman is here, the man that has the capacity to make America great again, as he has been saying. So it's a boost for Trump, except that the elections are still a couple of months away, and 1 month is a long time in politics. So there's a whole lot that will take place between now and the elections. Even though this has boosted his chances, has made him a lot more popular, has created the aura of Superman, but it's still a long time away from the election, and that one singular act will not guarantee victory for Trump, even though for now there are positives for him on account of the attempt to assassinate him.
Many thanks for staying with me. I believe that this episode, sparked fascinating debates, on political violence, conspiracy theories, and what nations like Nigeria can learn from such incidents. It was an eye-opener for many of us. But regardless, however we look at it, after all, Donald Trump is already there, yes, as the 45th and the 47th president of America. This has never happened in the history of America, but guys, he's here already. Regardless of what happened, yes, we are not praying for such to occur, but really, I believe that there are so many lessons that we can take from it, especially when it comes to the African front on politics. The second, story that I would like to touch on quickly is the cultural diplomacy and creative economy. I believe that the global recognition of Nigerian artists like Burna Boy and Davido at the Grammy Awards was another highlight of the year, and it brought so many immense potential of Nigeria's creative economy. And this episode, with Honorable Anatu Musawatu, we also discussed how culture and arts could drive economic growth and strengthen the international ties. I think it's important for us to look back at this enriching discussion. And when I come back, we will see, you will agree with me with what I've said. Stay with me, I'll be right back. In the entertainment industry, what roadmap can you say that you have been able to map out for those who want to sustain that vision of creativity in this economy that we found ourselves today?
Well, again, thank you for having me. The creative economy is absolutely huge in terms of the potential. We all know that. Up until now, why you see we've not been able to gain the value abound in the creative industry is because proper foundation has never really been put in place to sort of support its growth. When I came in, I realized that we really had to start basically from ground zero because, proper structure was really not in place. For example, the issue of IP. IP is absolutely crucial and essential for you to have a really fortified foundation. The issue of a cultural policy. We had a cultural policy that was completely obsolete. We had one that had been drawn up, but it had been collecting dust. You know what happened to the cultural component part of the ministry was it was always under information, which sort of overshadowed it. So not much was really done to cultivate. And the creative industry, this is the first time a government has put up a ministry that caters specifically to the creative industry. So what I did when I came on, rather than just announce a number of initiatives and programs, I wanted to build that proper foundation. And what I did was I brought in the likes of BCG, McKinsey, EY, some of the best cerebral minds, think tanks in the world, to help me do a proper deep dive, a proper research, data collection, to see how best we can leverage on what we have. People talk about us having a moment. The whole world is so interested in Nigeria because of our content, our talent, and creativity.
My takeaway from this is that Honorable Anatu Musa was talking about leveraging Nigeria's cultural diversity to boost economic development was a big one for us, which was necessary, or which is still necessary, because such conversation like this, reminds us of how rich, untapped potential that we have as a nation, and in terms of our culture as well, how our culture can be unifying force on the global stage. And I feel that conversations like this, is something that we must continually, create awareness for, because, culture, it's really important in shaping the thought of the nation. And I feel that that's one of the highlights, and quite a number of people reacted to this. I think the second highlight of Real Talk with Kike is the fact that it's the political discourse and human affairs. The reinstatement of Sanusi, Lamido as Emir of Kano was one of the most discussed issues this year. It wasn't just about tradition now. I spoke about culture earlier. It wasn't just about tradition, but also about the interplay between politics, between community, between laws. So let's take a quick look at what our legal experts, shared with or in this episode. And when I come back, we take a cue clip about it, and I give my 2 cents on it. Stay with me. I'll be right back. I would like you to elaborate on the legal grounds that were used to dispose Sanusi Lamido in 2020 and the basis for his reinstatement by Governor Abba Yusuf in 2024.
Currently, there are different conflicting orders. We have about 2 cases in the High Court of Kano, and I think so far about minimum of 2 cases have also been instituted at the Kano division of the Federal High Court. Now, what has happened is that you have a situation where Alhaji Ado Bayero had gone to the Federal High Court seeking certain injunctive reliefs in furtherance of his right of his fundamental rights, and I say fundamental rights in quote. And of course, regarding the main case that he filed, where he challenged the warrant or the order for his arrest as the order issued by the governor for the CP Commissioner of Police to arrest him, and then what seemed like an effort to restrict his movement or to banish him from Kano. So those actions by the governor were rightly challenged in court, and the court, in a well-considered judgment, delivered a judgment or ruling in his favor. Alhaji Sanusi has also filed a case of his own. I'm aware that the Attorney General of Kano has also filed another case, and at the State High Court, the courts made some interim and later interrogatory orders in favor of the governor and Mr. Sanusi. So we have a situation now where there are conflicting orders. The Federal High Court a few days ago had said that actions taken by Governor Yusuf while the order to maintain status quo was pending are void and were set aside. The court, however, said it was not going to make pronouncements on the validity of the law because the substantive suit was yet to be determined. So it's been a mix of legal arguments from both sides.
My takeaway from this is the fact that a legal expert, is explaining the implications of the Emirate tussles and Sanusi Lamido's being reinforced. I don't want to use the word reinforced, maybe reinstates, and all of that. And this episode just highlighted the importance, of preserving our cultural heritage while ensuring that, justice and fairness in governance is at play. So a true lesson in balance for me is the fact that, fairness must play out regardless of whichever political party or unbiased. I don't know, I'm trying to struggle with my words. I don't want anybody calling me after this story because this is a recap. It's a recap of the year. It's not a real episode. This is just for us to reflect back on all that has transpired over the year. Just a few clips, because if we were to take all the episodes of Real Talk with Kike, I think that we'll be having up to 10 recaps. But guys, we just have to manage a few that created a lot of controversies. And another one for me is the Nigeria's democratic journey at 25. This also came with 1 year anniversary of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So I just felt that I needed to bring this back to recap, because our democracy, marked 25 years, this year, and we took the time to just, reflect on this journey with notable figures like Chief Dele Momodu, from the gains of democracy to the challenges we still face. And this episode was a deep dive, into Nigeria's political landscape, and I think it's important for us to revisit this conversation and hear what my mom, because he's an uncle to me, an extension of my home, so to speak, if I'm allowed to say that today on air. That's Chief Dele Momodu. Let's hear some of this recap, and when I come back, I give my 2 cents on this. Stay with me, I'll be right back. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 1 year in office is a continued journey in democracy. How would you assess the last 365 days of his administration, given the current economic circumstances?
Well, no matter what I say, because I'm in opposition, it's going to be considered like I am biased against the government. Well, I'm not. I'm supposed to be a friend of the government, but I'm not proud of the last 4 years. For example, I was shocked and stupefied when on the very first day of handing power over to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, instead of giving Nigerians a message of hope, good news of his kingdom or of his presidency, and the case might be, he just delivered a bazooka of a message by saying, yes, we yanked off subsidies from petroleum, and other things followed sporadically. And people feel, oh wow, that was a very callous way of starting a new government. Even if you are going to remove this, you could have done it in phases, not in one fell swoop. And now 1 year after, we are being told that, unfortunately, subsidy has been smuggled in through the back door, and nobody is talking. Nobody is telling us what the situation is currently with the subsidy. Electricity tariff has gone up more often than not. We're in darkness, and yet we are paying more. Of course, in the marketplace, I remember I was with my wife under 2 weeks ago, and we ordered for a basket of tomatoes. You will not believe it. What we bought was just a third of the basket, and they were charging us 140,000 just for tomato. I'm not talking about pepper. I'm not talking about onions. I'm not talking about gari. I'm not talking about pork. I'm talking about just tomato. So if the minimum wage right now is on the average of about 30 plus naira, I do not know how our people are surviving. If the rich are also crying, then I wonder what is happening to the poor who labor day and night to make a living for themselves and their families.
Woo, many thanks for staying with me, guys. Looking back on this episode, there are just few extractions could be taken away from me, because I remember also visiting MK Abiola's take, because Chief Dele Momodu's sharing insight on Nigerian democratic journey and its significance was key. But the fact that he was one of the closest people to MK Abiola was one thing that I felt that I needed to bring to fore. The strides that we have made in democracy are undeniable, but Chief Dele Momodu was apt in putting most of his words together in these small extractions that we put out there, in terms of the much work that needs to be much work that have been done, that needs to be done in terms of democracy, and also the inclusivity and the effectiveness of unity in our country and moving forward thus far. I think that this was one of my eyes, if you ask me, when it comes to the recap of 2024. Quickly, another recap I would like to bring to fore right now is the economic issues for fuel subsidy removal. Oh my goodness, that subsidy removal today has affected every other sector that affects us all in Nigeria. And that removal of the fuel subsidy was one of the year's most hotly debated, topics, in Nigeria front today. In this episode, we unpacked economic challenges this policy created, and a lot of debate. We discussed. It was discussed via different platforms, even diaspora, discussing it on how Nigerians are going to be coping with the rising inflation and the cost of living, knowing that, most organizations did not review their salaries. Things are still, I don't know, it's still ongoing, to be honest. So I guess, what, let's take a quick look on this clip, and when I return, you will agree with me that we are still in it with this removal of fuel subsidy. Stay with me, I'll be right back. If the government can wake up one day and increase the removal of subsidy, increase the electricity tariffs, and so many other things, why would they say that the figure is too much for them to be able to pay? What's your response to this?
Well, every sane person knows that it's a big joke. That sort of figure will not fly in business world. And like I said, what labor should be asking for is probably a reform of the system that makes politics the most lucrative endeavor in our system is what we need to look at. I mean, the system that makes, because you are a member of a National Assembly, you can be given a car of 160 million. It's unsustainable. No system can support this. Government removed subsidy, but then because of the cost of living, because of the cost of governance in our system, nobody is feeling the effect except those in government. It's not possible for anybody, any business person, to pay that sort of money. And where you want to do it, then there will be a lot of people that will be out of job. If you have to pay so much for labor, then there will be a lot of people out of job. But it's even unsustainable. You cannot, minimum wage, you can't move from 30,000 to 495,000, no matter whatever magic anybody wants to do. And if done, it's unsustainable.
All right, thanks for staying with me. This discussion on the economic fallout of subsidy removal and its impact on the average Nigerian was a big blow, or it's still a big blow for many of us. You know, people are struggling with the living standard right now, knowing, like I said, that many people, you know, have their salaries have not been increased. You know, staff are still struggling with the same thing. So this episode was a reality check on the sacrifices many Nigerians are making, you know, and the urgent need for policies like this to find a balanced growth with compassion, because however we look at it, you know, these are things that affect us all, and we must have empathy for the common citizens. I think that's my takeaway on this. Let's go on a quick break, and when I return, the conversation will continue. Stay with me. I'll be right back. This is Real Talk with Kike.
True friendship, it lasts forever. True friendship, a gift we share together. No matter where you are, we're there together. Sharing moments, happiness is when we are together.
Multina, share happiness.
Progress. Ọganiru bụ echiche ndị be anyị. That is why, when we travel beyond the land of our birth, we are not afraid to start afresh in search of our glory. Our thirst to succeed fires our passion to build empires made from hard work and determination.
From the east to overseas, the drums of triumph hail our name. This is the sound of progress. Ebube dike, nwoke n'etiti ụmụ nwoke, ịlọghachila n'ebube. Nwoke dịka ọdụm, nnọọ, bịa were ọnọdụ gị n'etiti ndị okenye. This is the life we chose. Enjoy the new taste of progress. Mwafọ turu golota.
Thanks for staying with me. Of course, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and this year we took several bold steps together, you know, exploring the real stories, the real issues, the real solutions. And on today's show, you know, we've been talking or reflecting, or will I say we've had a reflective journey through some of the most impactful episodes, you know, we've had this year, 2024, from political discourse to human affairs to economic challenges to global perspective. You know, we've been having real talk, you know, since in the last 30 minutes of the show, in terms of the forefront that has been brought to you, you know, bringing you thoughtful and engaging, provoking, you know, conversation. And I've created the highlights of our year, you know, featuring insightful discussion with remarkable guests, a moment that sparked, you know, meaningful dialogue across the nation. So it's important for us to dive in on the last segment of the show. You know, there are quite a number of episodes this year. We just have to pick a few, you know, that I felt that, you know, created a lot of, you know, controversies globally. I think that, you know, the next talking point for me with all that has been going on right now that went down in 2024 is the fact that the Women in Leadership International Women's Day, you know, was another recap that I felt that I needed to bring to fore, being I'm a woman as well, so I needed to bring that into fore. Our International Women's Day Spotlight was a platform to celebrate the achievement of women across various fields. You know, we asked tough questions, you know, about breaking barriers, creating space for women in leadership, and let's revisit one of these most powerful moments of from this episode of 2024. And when I come back, I'll give my 2 cents on it. Stay with me. I'll be right back. Today's interview is more about celebrating humor and your ongoing works with a view to inspire women across the globe, just like you said earlier, that even the young women, also you're inspired by them. Speaking about your leadership at the World Trade Organization, WTO, what has it taken you to be the first woman, or should I say first African, to lead the WTO as Director General? What are your top priorities and goals for the WTO during your tenure?
Well, thank you very much, Kike. I think it's taken me a long career in development. I was trained as a development economist. And that means, and I spent a long part of my career, 25 years at the World Bank. But remember, I also was a total of 7 years as Nigeria's finance minister, and a short time as foreign affairs minister, where I also spent time working on the issues of our country. So I think that whole accumulation of experience has really helped me when I was competing for the job of Director General of the WTO. I've always cared about how can developing countries invest in themselves, manage themselves better, improve their governance so that they can also begin to catch up with the richer countries in the world in a way that can help us deal with the issues we have coming up, which is a large number of our population who are youth under the age of 25. How will they be employed? How will they be gainfully employed so they can be useful to themselves and the economy? So all of this experience, a lot of which also included dealing with trade. You can't do development economics without talking about trade and looking at the impact of trade on the growth of the economy. So that really helped in getting where I was. So when it came time to compete for this job, there were 8 of us. I think I deployed that experience. And I also always said, that is wonderful to be the first woman, wonderful to be the first African, but that should not be the basis of the choice of those who were on the interview panel. And we were being interviewed by, a panel of ambassadors from all over the world. Ministers were watching, looking in. It was quite intimidating. But what I said was, look for the best person who can run the WTO and reform it and solve its problems.
Yeah, this International Women's Day and a guest discussing these challenges and the triumphs of women in male-dominated space was also what actually was one of my moments this year, because those stories are a testament to the resilience and brilliance of women everywhere we find ourselves. So I'm proud to amplify these voices of women who are, putting in their efforts, changing the narratives out there. And I want to say kudos to you, to those women. And another quick one for me is the African democracy and governance as well, because as military coups, swept through some part of Africa this year, we explored Nigerians' role in stabilizing democracy on the continent, and this episode just shed light on the lessons African nations can learn from each other. And I think it's better for us to quickly take a quick look on this extract, and when I come back, we'll discuss it. Stay with me. I'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with me. I believe that, discussing this clip, how Nigeria can influence democracy in terms of the stability in Africa, was a good one for us, because this conversation reminded us that Nigeria has a pivotal, role to play in shaping the future of democracy in Africa, and it's a responsibility that we must take seriously, however we look at it. So I just feel that, you know, this is one of the highlights of 2024. So what will I say will be the last or the closing segment for the highlight of 2024 right now? I will say the foreign affairs and international relations too, you know, will be another one for me, because our first stop takes us to one of the most talked about topics this year, which is the Nigerian regaining access to UAE visas. God, that sparked a lot of debates online. This episode was a beacon of hope for many, as it symbolizes the renewed diplomatic ties and fresh opportunities for trade, you know, for education, for tourism. So let's take a quick look, and when I come back, you know, we debate on it. You know, stay with me. I'll be right back. This change shows how strong our diplomatic, you know, efforts are, and is also a positive sign after a time of tense relations between the two countries in the past. And Nigeria and UAE have had a complex relationship, you know, in terms of what trade, you know, involving trade, tourism, and diplomacy. So the visa ban had caused a lot of problems or challenges, like I like to say on this platform, making it hard or making it challenging for Nigerians to travel to the UAE, you know, for business, for tourism, even for education. And this ban, you know, affected not just individuals but also the Nigerian economy at large, especially the young people who see the UAE as a land of opportunities. You know, now that the ban is lifted, I believe that it's open for new chances for jobs, education, and businesses or business. So for the Nigerian economy, I believe that this is good news for those who are finding it very challenging to go to Europe, to Asia, to US, and all of that. You know, UAE has always been their America, so to speak. So it will likely lead to more money being sent home, you know, by Nigerians working in the UAE, which will help the economy grow. So business people can now access a key market again, you know, boasting, I think, the trade relations and the economic cooperation between us. All right, many thanks for staying with me. This clip, you know, on us just discussing the UAE visas, you know, showing the optimism and the key insights of this episode, of how we talked about how these policies, the policy change would affect young Nigerians and businesses. You know, it was truly uplifting, if you ask me, you know, in terms of the aspiration of those who are eager to japa. You know, we keep it real on this platform to find new opportunities in the UAE, you know. But I want to say a big thank you to all our guests, you know, who have made this discussion enlightening, however we look at it, creating time to share their lunch time with us here on Real Talk with Kike. And I believe that, you know, we've had a wonderful one. But quickly, let me bring to fore the political discourse as well, because we've delved into topic that got social media buzzing. I remember Mrs. Ali Makoli's controversies, appointment to the NSITF. You know, this episode was just about appointment that sparked a lot of debate about accountability in governance and the integrity of public office as well. So it's important for us to revisit the heated discussion. Stay with me and let's watch this Ali Makoli's episode together. When I come back, we'll give a little bit of critique before we wrap up the show. Stay with me, I'll be right back. Giving my own submission first before I come to my guests, I feel that this appointment not only raises questions but also reviews the memory of the controversial episode during the COVID-19 pandemic. Back in 2020, during the height of the pandemic, the Nigerian government, you know, distributed palliative to help, you know, alleviate the suffering of the citizens. However, Mrs. Ali Macaulay, then a Lagos State House of Assembly member, was accused of misappropriation of this palliative, reportedly using them as souvenirs for a birthday celebration. This alleged misconduct highlighted, the deep-seated issues of corruption and misuse of public resources. We try to keep it real on this platform. That's why it's called Real Talk with Kike. And given this background, our appointment to the NSITF, an institution crucial for providing social insurance to Nigerian workers, is viewed by many as a blatant disregard for accountability and integrity, and critics argue that this move undermines efforts to combat corruption and set a dangerous precedent for governance in Nigeria. And social media is abuzz with criticism.
My position is that she shouldn't have been appointed. Incidentally, the place she's appointed to is also a place where social insurance, social insurance that has to do with where money will be disbursed and where compensation will be given and all that. It's similar to like giving you COVID-19 palliative or, So I think she should have been appointed into that position. I know she's a strong ally of the president, and people normally will be compensated for their, contribution to the emergence of the president. But I think they will have looked for something else to give to her. I think the president does not remember. If he did, I'm confident he won't appoint her. And I say this because just a few days ago, somebody was appointed for the Ogoni clean-up project, and the Ogoni protested. The president has withdrawn that person and reinstated the Ogoni person who was there before. CVs come in here and there, and sometimes the president does not have all the details. I'm sure if the president knows, he won't appoint her.
So you agree with me after watching this highlight that, the critics of corruption and accountability that was brought to fore was necessary for us to bring it back as recap for 2024, because I asked tough questions about what this means for governance in Nigeria and whether leaders with controversial past deserve a second chance. This episode truly, if you ask me, embodied the spirit of Real Talk with Kike. If you ask me, this is one of the reasons why I betted such a platform, that we must be fearless, we must be real, very impactful episode of Real Talk with Kike. Quickly, another one for me is the human affairs angle. No matter how much you want to look at all of them, we must find balance everywhere in everything that we do. One episode that really touched hearts was when Senate President Akpabio, issued a public apology to Senator Natasha Akpoti. This discussion wasn't just about the apology, but also about respect for women in leadership. And I believe that most men who find themselves in the corridor of power must understand that emotional intelligence is key wherever they find themselves in relating with women. So I think it's important for us to relive this moment. And when I come back, you see the apology that was, given from Senator Akpabio on gender dynamics in leadership. Stay with me. I'll be right back. Senate President Godswill Akpabio apologized to, the Senator Natasha Akpoti. That shows that if you ask me truly, my own opinion, keeping it real on this platform, it shows real maturity and respect. I think that I respect Senate President. Last week, Akpabio told Natasha not to talk like she was in a nightclub after she spoke without being recognized, and it didn't sit well with many. I must put it out there, even though I feel that, there were too many balls regarding this, which I feel that was taken out of context. But when you look at it from the angle of it not being suitable by many people, especially since it wasn't the first time a female senator faced such treatment. Remember when Ireti Akigigbe, I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, was shut down too. Today, Tuesday, Akpabio came out and apologized openly on the Senate floor, saying that he never meant to insult any woman and that he prays for women to be uplifted. After all, he has 4 daughters and a beautiful wife, and he even mentioned how his phone and his wife's phone has been bombarded with angry calls and text messages. For me, my takeaway from his apologies, right? It's great to see him acknowledge his mistake. It's great to see him take ownership and set things right. So Akpabio's apology is a big lesson for everyone, if you ask me, especially men in power. Women deserve respect in every field, and it's important to listen to their voices and treat them with dignity and integrity that we deserve. I have so many episodes this year, but unfortunately I cannot take them. I have economic issues, that was brought to fall also regarding the implication of all the economic challenges that we faced thus far. But I think this might be my last, recap for 2024 because of time, and I want to bring back the political and the cultural insights, because our discussion on Nigeria's 25-year democratic journey and the reinstatement of Sanusi Lamido as Emir of Kano were some of the most thought-provoking moments on this show, and across the globe. This episode, explored the intersections of politics, traditions and governance. So we've given a clip of it, but I just feel that it's important for us to understand that the democratic journey episodes and the Mayor of Kano reinstatement was a big issue, and this episode challenged us all, to reflect on how far, we are going to continue to move forward as a nation, and what lies ahead for our democracy, and also remind us of the delegates, how delicate, balance between politics and cultural heritage is. So it's been an incredible year. I would like to say what an incredible year as well it has been. Each of this episode has brought perspective, uniqueness, or would I say powerful insights and real conversation that we will continue to cherish, for 2024. Unfortunately, I cannot take more, but I must say thank you to our amazing guests, that keep honoring my invitation, to share their thoughts that affect us all and lend their voice on issues that affect us all, rather, and how dedicated our viewers, everyone has been on Real Talk with Kike, and of course, to all my online consumers of content as well. I want to say you guys are the real MVP. Our Real Talk with Kike wouldn't be where it is today without those who have tuned in, without our guests, without my premium sponsor, Nigerian Breweries, and of course my media partner, Silverbird Group. I want to say many thanks to you guys, from Senator Ben, Mary Bruce, to Guy, to Bola Salako, to Michael, name them, everybody, to all the technical crew. These episodes have not only informed us, but also given us a reason to think critically and act decisively on wherever we find ourselves. I just want to say thank you so much again to every members of my team, starting from my floor manager to my most reliable PA, Bimpe Shokpeyin. She wears many caps, when it comes to ZED, when it comes to Real Talk with Kike. I'm sure she will be blushing right now as she hears me. And so, and the so-called people that are always running commentary in my ears, I can't mention all their names, from way up, the one that called themselves way up, always screaming excellent. In fact, I think I need to change my intro now. It will be excellent after you come from 2025, because of this way up guy that he calls himself way up on social media, but his name is Oye. But thank you very much, everybody. Clement, Francis, everybody, thank you so much. It's been an interesting episode of 2024, and I want to say I wish everybody a happy new year in advance, and keep watching Real Talk with Kike. Stay with me. I'll be right back. Bye now.